All right, we are live.
Nabil, how are you doing, man?
Doing all right, man. How are you?
It's always good to see you.
Always good to see you as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep. So, how's your week been?
It's been really good. Alhamdulillah, I can't complain. I think, around this time, anyways, I'm sure you know that things really die down in
Yeah.
terms of like workload, work capacity. The first 2 weeks of December are usually pretty heavy, just because people are just getting back from Thanksgiving. They're like, "Yo, we got to get. It's the last run. It's the last sprint.
Right.
We got to get things out there because come next week and the week after and the week after that, it's Christmas. It's Christmas, New Year's.
Right.
No one is there.
That's right. Yeah, and one thing that's interesting is that you'd expect that there's not a lot of people hiring around this time. But I found that to be very different. I'm not sure if it's like this time specific or like if it's something that's a trend. I'm not too sure about that, but the market's really hot right now, right?
And that's to your point. That is really weird.
It's weird, isn't it? It's an anomaly.
Traditionally, that does not happen.
Right.
Traditionally, basically October.
Yeah.
Mid-October is the cutoff. That's,
okay.
If you don't get something until mid-October, you're probably not going to get something until January. But this year has been very weird.
It's been very weird, yeah.
And I can't help but think it's partly due to the election.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's an election year. Okay.
I think people are, like, companies in general are gearing up for Trump's second term.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I think they know they're going to get tax cuts.
I
think they know they're going to have a harder time employing H-1B visa citizens.
Sure.
Or not citizens, but H-1B users. So I think they're trying to get ahead of the curve and fill up those positions with American citizens.
Perhaps, yeah. Yeah, because I wanted to ask you about that because I've heard you say that in the past, and I've heard many people say that in the past, that just like how you described, like that end of Q3, if you're not really, already settled in, then get ready to hunker down.
Basically.
It's kind of like get ready for the winter. Winter is coming, get ready for the winter, and just ride it out. And then when the new year comes, it's pretty much like, but yeah, when I saw that difference, I was like, man, I got to talk to you about this but that logic makes sense. Yeah. It is an election year.
And you can attest to this, how good the market has been, because with your own success, I know you're not really applying hard by any means, but you're getting interviews.
Oh yeah.
Consistently.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah, I would say every single week.
That's
every
crazy.
single week.
That is actually crazy.
Even though I haven't applied in God knows when. But it kind of goes to the fact that if you I'll be honest with you, man, the last time I really applied, it was over a year ago.
Oh wow.
Because I've been at the same place, right, for over a year now. So I had no reason to be applying like that, right? Very happy kind of where I'm at and everything. But yeah, man, it's been crazy in terms of if you do the legwork properly. There's one thing doing it, and there's another thing doing it strategically, and kind of following the formulas and the methodologies and the strategies that we kind of outline. If you do it right and you do it for a month, like 1 month solid, you've set yourself up for success. Like anytime there's that wave, that hiring wave, people will just start hitting you up and whatnot, so.
That's really crazy. Because a lot of our students and alumni can attest to that they're getting hit up and they're applying themselves too. Right. But out of all like our batches, I think now we're really seeing the trend of interviews going on.
Oh yeah. It's like you can't time the market, right? It's about, you kind of just have to plant those seeds. And when that rain cloud comes, the hiring wave, when it comes, it's going to fertilize all the seeds that you kind of had planted, in the past. And it gets really like mundane, and it gets really demoralizing, and it gets really like difficult. How many people we've spoken to, how many of our alumni, that they're like, dude, it's the instant gratification age. Like They're applying, they're not getting a result, and they're starting to feel like, man, what the heck's going on? Right. But you got to remember, man, like you're just planting the seed. When that cloud comes, it's going to cultivate it, you know? And that's what it is. And yeah, it surprises me because I've literally, dude, like Dice, I have not been on Dice for over a year now.
Same.
I get so many recruiters hitting me up from Dice.
Yeah.
And I get all these notifications, 7 people viewed your Dice profile, you know, XYZ viewed your Dice profile. Right. So it's all about, if you set it apart, you put the right keywords in there and all that good stuff, you'll get hit up when that wave comes.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's really crazy. It's been a crazy year. Yeah. It's been a tough year.
Sure.
I feel like there was a lot of doom and gloom early in the year.
Yeah.
Especially in tech markets, tech influencers, tech is dead. That's all everybody was saying, right?
Sure.
And me and you were like, no, tech isn't dead.
Exactly.
We can attest to that.
Right.
Our alumni can attest to that. But yeah, you're not going to get a job handed to you on a silver platter like COVID era. Right. But now we're starting to see that positive trend come back in. Yeah. Where it's like, hey, if I'm putting in work, I'm at least getting interviews.
Correct.
My thing is like, if you can get an interview, now the ball's in your court. Right.
That's right.
Now it's in your hands.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I would say that, I would honestly say, man, that whatever competitive advantage you can give yourself, you should give yourself. For example, I personally feel like I'm getting a lot of traction and a lot of interest, specifically because of the way that, you know, on my LinkedIn, I don't just have like the prior places that I've worked, but I have like an actual like video, you know, of myself talking about my project.
Oh, wow.
And what I did. I'm talking about the details of like what we went into, what we got into, all that stuff. It shows a level of effort that people like to see, because anything you can do, man, to differentiate yourself out of the thousands and thousands of applicants, you should go out of your way to, because how hard is it really to do? You don't need to have a whole professional studio and this and that. You could just have like some basic, you know, video that's explaining. It should look good. You should be professional. It should look, you know, quality, at least 720p minimum, right? It shouldn't be a grainy video or anything like that. But honestly, anybody's iPhone that you've got in your pocket, you could make a video 10 times better than that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that, and one more thing I'll say. These are like pro tips, right? That obviously if you're a student, current, or alumni, you're going to be getting all these tips and tricks delivered personally to you as a white glove service, because you deserve it. But for anyone else that's just a casual viewer, you know, just to give you some breadcrumbs, that definitely is a reason why I get so much traction. Another thing is, anytime that I do a major project, something that you could be proud of, something that another future employer would find to be valuable and useful, I make a blog post about it, explaining exactly what happened, what the challenges were, how we resolved those challenges, and honing in specifically on me as a product owner. So like, what did I do to mitigate the issues and blah, 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 XYZ. So it doesn't cost a lot to buy your domain. I mean, I have nabilkhan.com. Anybody could go on it. And you go on nabilkhan.com, and those posts that you're seeing, it's giving you, like, anyone that watches my video or reads my blog post, they're not going to have any doubt that I know what I'm talking about. Because I'm giving such specific details about what we did and how we did it. Of course, you need to be careful. Like, you don't want to share personal information of the company. You want to respect your employer. So having the utmost respect to that, like, you don't want to go into those specific details. But there's so much that could be said under the veil of protecting privacy. You know, you can still discuss so many different types of challenges. You don't need to mention names. You don't need to mention company names or specific clients. But whenever, like, I have an interviewer, I have the recruiter. So you know how the recruiter sends you their LinkedIn, and the recruiter sends them your LinkedIn. I always ask the recruiter to also send my blog and also send like my video.
Wow, that's really smart.
Yeah,
that's really smart. I didn't even I didn't realize you were doing that, because that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's why I have so much traction, because before they're even coming to the interview, it's like they already know this guy knows what he's talking about.
No, and that really shows a level of dedication, and it's different, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
No one else is really doing that.
Yeah, no one is doing that.
It's at least getting you the interview.
Exactly.
Right, and as we've mentioned multiple times, is like, look, if you can get the interview, it's in your hands now.
Right.
The ball's in your court.
Right.
The hard part is getting the interview.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's the thing, like, for anyone that's hearing what I just said for the first time, I guarantee you, barely anybody is doing this.
Yeah.
So by you, and it's not that hard.
Right.
We have ChatGPT that can take your notes and write it in a nice, easy way. You know, we have of course, you have to have those real experiences, because you're going to look like the biggest fool if you're fronting, like
Right.
you're doing things, and then in the interview, they'll catch you off guard when they're trying to ask you details.
Right.
So, of course, these should be experiences that you've had. But in terms of, like, making it into a blog post, like, you know, having a script to make it easy for when you're recording your video, these things are like, take advantage, you know, of whatever tool is at your disposal. Because other people aren't.
Right.
You know.
And it doesn't really take that much effort, as you mentioned.
It doesn't.
Yeah, the way technology has been, it's changed everything, honestly.
Right.
So I was telling our students, I've passed interviews by having ChatGPT coach me on a subject that I wasn't confident in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these are like 6-figure jobs.
That's right.
And I literally had ChatGPT give me a crash course.
Right.
Give me the high-level key takeaways.
Correct.
Of what I need to know specifically for product.
Right.
And then I had it ask me questions around it, like, what could an interviewer ask me about this?
Yeah.
So literally, in 2 days, I now feel confident in a subject that I may have touched up on in my project.
Right.
I worked around it. But it's not like I was in the weeds with it.
Right. No, absolutely. And we need, like, people really need to, like, update their mentality. Because I know a lot of people want to stay away from ChatGPT because they feel like it's cheating. Right. And the thing is that it's not about you making up an experience and putting it on your resume and asking ChatGPT, because at the end of the day, man, unless you're like a master manipulator, if they're gonna ask you something about it and get into the technical details, you're not gonna be able to do that, right? But rather, like, ChatGPT is fantastic for you to learn that thing.
Right.
Like, okay, this employer is looking for Catlin Studios. Let's say Catlin Studios is it's a platform for you to do test automation using generative AI. Okay, so you've never even heard of that before, right? But using ChatGPT or some tool like that, you can have like a personal tutor. That's not you're not gonna have to go through all of the BS that happens in like a normal course.
Right.
It can just give you the straight up, like, these are the facts, the cold hard facts. Here are the main topics. Here are the things that you should definitely know, and that's a means for your education, right? One of the hottest custom GPTs on OpenAI's platform right now is, can you guess what it is? You know what a custom GPT is, right?
Yeah.
It's a person customizes ChatGPT to act as a certain way and to do a certain thing.
Sure.
What do you think is one of the hottest? If not, I think it might have been the hottest.
Maybe just like general resume prep or interview prep.
So one of the hottest is, it's either number 1 or number 2, it's Khan Academy.
Really?
Khan Academy's custom ChatGPT.
Wow. Because
it's helping so many people learn different subjects, dude.
Right.
Like, physics, let's say, or some specific aspect of calculus or something.
Right.
ChatGPT, or the Khan Academy custom ChatGPT it's your personal tutor in your pocket.
Bro, if I had ChatGPT back in college, it would have been over.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's like to your point, like, I don't think people are realizing how much of a game changer this really is.
Right.
So the company I'm actually contracting for, they have Copilot built in to their infrastructure.
Sure.
So anytime that they're creating Confluence docs, or they missed a meeting, they have Copilot literally summarizing it, and they're encouraging everyone to use Copilot.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Whereas sometimes I know people, they're like, "Oh, can I use ChatGPT at my job? Should I tell them this and that?" I just think like the industry is changing and the culture around it is changing. Where it's not seen as cheating anymore, but it's now seen as like, if you're not using this, then you don't belong here.
100%. So a couple of points that I will note as a disclaimer is that you never want to put any of your employer's proprietary information in ChatGPT. Because of the fact that ChatGPT now has that knowledge. It's stored on their servers. They can use it for training. And it's possible for you to accidentally leak out your employer secret sauce to the general public. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Which is like something that, of course, can't do it that way, right? Now, with that being said, you have two options, okay? All is not lost. You have two options. Option number one is you could look to run a local LLM on your actual device. So any of you that have like MacBooks that have the M1 chip, which is the Apple Silicon chip, which frankly speaking has been like for the past 5-6 years, no one's using it's even hard to find now an Intel based Mac laptop. They're all using M1, M2, whatever. If you have a device like that, you hit the jackpot. The Apple Silicon devices are fantastic for these local LLM models. It takes a little effort to set one up, but if you have it set up now, that's a local model. Like when you're asking it a question, it's using the resources on your computer, like the compute and all that, the GPU and whatnot, to give you an answer. That information is not going anywhere. Okay, so that's called a local LLM model. Okay, it's a lot of open source models you can use. Okay. Option number two is, if you're able to discuss it with your employer, like you mentioned, there's a lot of employers that are pro generative AI, pro LLMs. If that's the case, use the employer's license, because the commercial license for OpenAI makes it such not only that the prompts that you're putting into it are kept proprietary to your company, not only that, but it recognizes the information that your company has. And if anyone in the world is using ChatGPT and puts in that proprietary information, it alerts the employer that this dude just put in your proprietary information in one of its prompts. You understand what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So that's crazy twofold. That's crazy number one, that's fantastic for people that are developing and writing code using, OpenAI. Because now if that code is being used somewhere else, they'll be able to know that, hey, there's something shady going on here. And but then the other side of the coin is, you remember that warning that we gave in the beginning, the disclaimer, that, hey, dude, don't put company proprietary information in ChatGPT. Right? That's for two reasons. Number one, because it's the wrong thing to do. But number two, because if your employer does have a commercial license with OpenAI, you're going to get flagged.
They're going to find you.
Exactly. So better to be safe than sorry, So that's one thing, just to, be careful of. But other than like proprietary company information, which frankly speaking, how many times unless you're a developer that's like using it to develop code, like as a product owner, you're not really, need to do it like that. There's so many use cases that are, legitimate and whatnot. Especially for your personal self. Like, dude, for your career, it's a game changer for your career. For how you use it on the job, that's why you should, frankly speaking, in the course, that's something that, it's a central theme, right? It's not just using LLMs, but how to safely and professionally use LLMs in a manner that's fair to the employer, in a manner that doesn't violate any issues. You're not going to get flagged. So that's something you can look forward to if you, are part of our journey.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, crazy stuff, man.
I know. So switching gears for just 1 second, I do want to mention something that is something big that we've been working on for some time now, and it's still in the works, but I do want to put this out there for our audience and anyone who may be interested, is that we are now offering, or we're about to start offering, 100% off scholarships for students that qualify for our scholarship program.
Right.
Yeah, and it's, there's a certain set of criteria that, have to be met for each individual case. Yeah. But there's a chance to take this course and get 100% off, so you don't pay a single penny.
Yeah, a course that's over $10,000.
Yeah.
And being able to have a full ride, I'm glad you mentioned that. The full ride scholarships, we've never had that.
Never, ever.
So we've never introduced a full ride scholarship.
Yeah.
So it's good for people to just apply.
Right.
Because it doesn't hurt to just apply. I mean, I'll be honest with you, the criteria that we have, and we should kind of go over it, because I fear that some people might not apply thinking that they can't do it. Like FAFSA, I kind of never really applied for FAFSA because I was like, man, it's probably not going to work, because I was doing college after, like, I was a professional already. I was already earning money, so I was like, bro, maybe it's not going to work.
Right.
But we should make it clear that, like, if there's anyone that's gotten laid off, it doesn't matter how much you were making before you got laid off.
Right.
If there's anyone that got laid off, hit us up.
100%.
Hit us up. We'll talk to you. We'll make it easy. We'll go through the details and see if you qualify.
Yep.
Just simply being laid off is sufficient.
Yes.
For a possibility that you could get a full ride.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. And of course, if someone's financially struggling, that's a default. Of course.
Exactly.
You're a primary.
100%. And then the third category that I do want to mention is that something that we're both very passionate about.
Yeah.
And you personally have family in.
Of course. Yeah.
Is the military.
The military. Yeah.
So anyone who is in the military, active duty, or transitioning into civilian life.
Right.
Or if you're married to a military member, if you're a military spouse, you will qualify.
You will qualify.
Yes.
You will qualify.
For 100% off.
Full ride.
Full ride scholarship.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely insane.
That's right, yeah.
And this is going to be coming in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It is, it is.
It's exciting. I mean, I already have a few people in mind. Once our policies are in place and everything.
Likewise.
So that'll be fantastic. And that's a good point, because I have multiple people. I know you have multiple people in mind as well.
Yeah.
So anyone that's watching, you should kind of not drag your feet on it, because 100%. Of course we can look for future cohorts, but why would you want to wait like 6 months or 8 months?
Right.
Why not like get in the first few cohorts, which are of course filling in, because we have so many different people that we could think of that would benefit.
Right. And it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything to even apply.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a conversation.
It's just a conversation. If you qualify, amazing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's good, man. And I don't think we've mentioned too much about, that's the full ride. But we do have special circumstance, 80% sponsorships as well, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Like, you should talk, even if you do not fall under any of the categories that we mentioned, you should still reach out, because you have a high likelihood of getting 80% off the course.
Yeah.
Which is considered the partial sponsorship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that still applies.
Yeah, absolutely. So these 2 scholarships that we've been working on.
Yeah.
It's definitely taken some time to.
Yeah.
Just iron out all the kinks.
Right.
But very excited to be offering this very soon.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can't wait for that. I know a lot of people are going to benefit from this. I can't wait like 6 months later, like 3 months later, when we have like bunch of testimonials of people that we 100%. Gave like full ride scholarships. That's going to be, it's like changing like one life at a time.
100%.
Changing a person's life, one person at a time. But yeah. Also, like, I would say, if you are someone that, we have some people that watch the podcast that are already working professionals.
Yep.
And they're not necessarily looking to take the course or to transition.
Mm-hmm.
But they know people that would be interested, right?
Yeah.
You can be an affiliate of ours.
Yeah.
Right? We can talk to you. We can explain the details. We can gear you up and give you material and whatnot.
Yep.
And just have that conversation with us, and you can be a means of good. You could be a means of changing people's lives.
100%.
Like, if you want to be someone, like, financially transforming a person completely changes the life of that person as well as their entire family.
Yeah.
And if you believe in that mission and you want to help us in that mission, hit us up, and we can discuss. The more the merrier. The more people that make it happen, the better. And
we also offer placement bonuses as well. Right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's a huge aspect of just being an affiliate.
That's right.
It's like even if you had one conversation with your cousin, for example, and they end up signing up, you'll get your bonus.
You get your bonus. Yeah. Spread the love.
Yeah.
Spread the love
exactly.
in this holiday spirit. Yeah. What's the better gift, man? It's a teach a man a fish situation, right? Like, what's a better gift, bro? A fish, or fishing lessons?
As many fish as you want, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, fishing lessons, so that person for the rest of their life are gonna, he's gonna be able to fish. He's not gonna rely on you for handouts. He's not gonna rely on you for,
Exactly. You're really helping someone stand on their own 2 feet.
That's right.
And there's no better feeling, honestly.
Yeah, there's no better feeling. That's right. All right, Akbar.
Yeah.
I think let's leave it at that.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
Yeah.
And hoping for some good news.
Sounds good.
So, yeah, please, everyone, thank you for tuning in, and please feel free to reach out to us if you yourself are interested in any of our sponsorships, or if you know someone that's interested. It's a very simple process, just a conversation, and it's given that we are a proper institute, these types of things are now opening up to us, so we want everyone to benefit.
100%.
All right, then, Akbar, thank you very much. Take care. All right.